up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, tigerfitness.com. Oh, man, we could talk about it now. Let's talk about COVID vaccines. According to New York Post, YouTube, for the record, I am simply reading an article. All of the stuff I say is simply my opinion, and the opinion everyone should follow here is that expressed by the CDC and the WHO. I am not a medical doctor. Please, please, please go see your doctor and see what they advise you to do. What I will recommend you do as a non-doctor is take MTS Nutrition Immortal, the greatest multivitamin pack ever created. Look at all these awesome ingredients. Here's how it looks. Come out to $1 a day. Go to tigerfitness.com. That's tigerfitness.com and buy yours now. On to the news. From the New York Post, COVID vaccines linked to slight increases in heart, brain, blood disorders study. Now, one thing I want to point out is that there was a conflict of interest reported, multiple, in this study. And I'm going to read this, begin with this from the study. I'm going to read the article, not the study. Several of the researchers also reported having relationships or having previously received payments from the biopharmaceutical companies Gilead Sciences, AbbVie, Pfizer, and GlaxoSmithKline, which means that if there is any bias, it will be going most likely, again, depending on what the CDC and WHO say, it would go in favor of the vaccines being 100% safe and effective, as we know they are, because that's what the WHO and the CDC says. So with that being said, I'm going to read this article. Again, it's just an article by the New York Post. I'm not making any medical claims, nor am I saying you should not take the vaccine. I'm saying talk to your doctor. Okay, so this is by Yaron Steinbuch. I always like to put the author's name out there because these guys work hard. And, you know, I'll be real. Like, I have friends who are reporters and writers, and they don't make much money. So I like to give them as much PR as possible. So thank you for this article. Good. I don't know if Yaron's a guy or a girl. Good person. Good they. COVID vaccines from companies like Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca have been linked to rare occurrences of heart, brain, and blood disorders, according to the largest vaccine study to date. Researchers from the Global Vaccine Data Network analyzed 99 million people who received jabs in 8 countries and monitored for increases in 13 medical conditions, Bloomberg News reported. The study, which was published in the journal Vaccine last week, found the vaccines were linked to a slight spike in neurological, blood, and heart-related medical conditions. Now, I will say a slight spike is alarming in my opinion, because how many millions and millions and millions of people have taken this? So a 1% spike, that's millions of people. Just in perspective. Rare cases of myocarditis, inflammation of the heart muscle, were found in the first, second, and third dose of Pfizer BioNTech and Moderna's mRNA vaccines. Another heart condition, pericarditis, the inflammation of the cardiac muscle, had a 6.9-fold increased risk in those who receive a third dose of AstraZeneca viral vector shot, the study found. Meanwhile, a first and fourth dose of Moderna's jab had a 1.7-fold and 2.6-fold increased risk, respectively. Guys, 2.6-fold that's not slight, in my opinion. That's a lot. An increased risk also was identified of a type of blood clot in the brain from viral vector shots, such as the one developed by the University of Oxford and manufactured by AstraZeneca, Bloomberg said. There is a 2.5 times greater risk of developing Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare neurological disorder in which the immune system attacks the nerves, among people who received AstraZeneca's jab, according to the study. When they launched this, they said it's 100% safe and effective. That's what they said. I'm not saying they weren't correct, but I'm just reading an article from the New York Post. Possible safety signals for transverse myelitis, a spinal cord inflammation, were identified after viral vector vaccines, as was acute disseminated encephalomyelitis. Guys, I do not have a medical degree, and it is very evident in me reading this. the inflammation and swelling in the brain and spinal cord after both viral vector and mRNA vaccines, the researchers found. The experts at GVDV in New Zealand, a research arm of the World Health Organization, examined 13 medical conditions that they considered adverse events of special interest among the subjects, aiming to identify higher than expected cases after a vaccine. More than 13.5 billion doses have been administered worldwide since the start of the pandemic. A small portion of those immunized were harmed by the shots, stoking debate about the benefits of the jabs versus the risks. So even if you have 1% of 13.5 billion, that's scary, guys. The size of the population in the study increased the possibility of identifying real potential vaccine safety signals. Lead author Kristina Faxova of the Department of Epidemiology Research, Staten Serum Institute in Denmark, said in a release, single sites or regions are unlikely to have a large enough population to detect very rare signals, she added. One expert who is not involved in the study maintained that the benefits of the vaccines outweigh the risks. Who is this expert? And I want to know what the benefits are. Like, no one's been able to tell me what the benefits are other than they lessen the symptoms. They don't prevent. This is what they say. Again, if the CDC and WHO say otherwise, they're right, I'm wrong. But from what I heard, which could be wrong, is that it doesn't prevent, it just lessens the symptoms. But in turn, you're getting this huge 2.5, 2.6 fold increase in developing these sometimes deadly things. I don't know. I mean, I'm still thinking, and I'll be real, that overall this is a good thing. For the record, I never got a shot. I don't plan on ever getting one. I don't even know if I had COVID. Not sure. I think I did. I mean, I had some tests come back incongruent because the tests were questionable. Of course, if CDC and WHO say otherwise, I'm wrong. God, I'm trying to be careful here, guys. I really like having my channel, but I want to talk about this. The odds of all these adverse events is still much, much higher when infected with SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19. So getting vaccinated is still by far the safer choice. Jacob Glanville, CEO of biotech company. Okay. So CEO of a company. Okay, great. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate it. Is Jacob a doctor? Because he seems to be as smart as me about this stuff. And I'm just a dumbass, right? You're just a meathead who was right this whole time about this. Of course, not as right as WHO and CDC, but I was right. Dr. Marc Siegel, I've seen that name before, clinical professor of medicine at NYU Langone, I can't pronounce anything, guys. I read things, but I don't talk about them with people. Shared a similar conclusion. The massive studies and review of the data reveal some rare association of the mRNA vaccines and myocarditis, especially after the second shot, as well as an association between the Oxford AstraZeneca adenovirus vector vaccines and Guillain-Barré syndrome. Siegel, who is not involved in the study, told Fox News Digital. But these risks are rare. Again, what is rare? 1%, 5%, 0.5%. When you're talking about 13 billion people, it's a lot of people. What is rare? Can someone, doctor, can you define what the F rare means? But the risks are rare. And other studies show that the vaccine decreases the risk of myocarditis from COVID itself dramatically, he said, adding that all vaccines have side effects. Yeah, I mean, I keep getting polio. This is my third time getting polio. It always comes down to a risk-benefit analysis of what you're more afraid of, the vaccine side effects or the virus itself, which can have long-term side effects in terms of brain fog, fatigue, cough, and also heart issues. Denying or exaggerating a vaccine's side effects is not good science, nor is underestimating the risks of the virus, especially in high-risk groups, Siegel added. The Post has reached out to Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca for comment. Where do I start? So here's where I sit. Here's where I sit, and I will sit here no matter what comes out. I think the vaccine is not a bad thing. I think what is a bad thing is mandating a vaccine. A vaccine that for those under 70 years old, in my opinion, again, talk to your doctor, and also listen to the WHO and CDC, things I have to say, presents a lot of risk. Whereas someone like me, a 43-year-old male who's not overweight, who's not obese, who has a resting heart rate of 49, exercises every single day, tremendous HRV, who is in great shape, immune system's very high, rarely gets sick. COVID can kill me. COVID can kill me. I want to say that COVID can kill me. A common cold can kill me. The flu can kill me. In 2006, I was bedridden for 5 days with the flu. Hand, foot, and mouth disease can kill me. I had hand, foot, and mouth in 2015. I couldn't walk for 5 days because my feet literally slothed off and my nails fell off and I was deathly ill. There's no treatment for that. There's no cure for that. It's viral. But I got over it. My immune system fought it because I wasn't out of shape. I wasn't overweight. I wasn't obese. I wasn't elderly. For elderly folks, we do what we can to mitigate the issues, right? For elderly folks, when this broke out, we should be like, hey, y'all might want to stay in. Rest of you guys, man, you got to go keep the economy running. Like, you got to go get this thing. Let's get this herd immunity thing going on, which, by the way, might not exist depending on what the CDC and WHO say. So instead, we did the opposite. And I think now we have RSV through the roof. We have people getting sick all the time because our immune system are shot. People are putting that damn germicide on their hands, not spermicide, germicide. They're wearing masks, inhaling and exhaling their own germs. Their own, CO2, it's just nasty. And here we are. We have a population that's getting fatter, that's getting sicker. We got a population getting lazier. I was just reading, something this morning that the kids are fatter than ever. And it's our fault because not enough of us spoke out. In 2020, I spoke out. I got canceled. I got death threats. I got it all. I got shadow banned on YouTube. Unless YouTube didn't do it, please don't shadow ban me or give me strikes again. I just got over that on January 30th. I love this channel. I love YouTube. I love talking to you guys. But what I've learned is I can't speak my mind. I can't even read the news without prefacing it with it's the news. And don't listen to this if the WHO and CDC says so. We can't even read the news. They literally shut down the Hunter Biden laptop story and blocked the New York Post from Twitter during the election, which definitely affected the votes. It definitely affected how the election turned out. And you know it did. Whether it was enough to win or lose the election, I don't know. But by blocking that story, by choosing a side, that's what happened. And here we are. Because we weren't allowed to talk about it, a lot of people who might not have needed to, again, depending on what their doctor said, to get this treatment, a lot of people might be hurt for no reason. When you're getting anything done, when you're getting a pedicure, a manicure, when you're going and getting a vasectomy, when you're getting whatever it is, you have to weigh the positives and negatives. Guys, I went to the doctor this morning, okay? I have IBS-D. And it's to the point where it's unbearable. I also have been donating blood a long time. My ferritin levels were low. I went to a gastroenterologist and he said, you know what? I want you to go in. Your blood works great. You're healthy as hell, but we're going to do a couple blood tests. I just got it done right here this morning. We need you to I want you to see if you have celiac disease, which is a possibility. But also we're going to do a colonoscopy. A colonoscopy, they put you to sleep the day before you drink Gatorade and Megadose Miralax. They clean you out, then they shove a scope up your ass and they do a camera. And I'm like, let's do it. But even before the colonoscopy, I asked the doctor, hey bro, what's the risk of a colonoscopy? He said a sore anus. And that's when I knew I was at the right doctor. Guys, your health is your responsibility. And at this point in time, even though I have to say you need to listen to the CDC, the WHO, but you also need to listen to your doctor and you need to do your own research. It was at the point when they were telling you not to do your own research. That's when red flags go up, man. I research everything. You know, I'm over here. You know, I have a book right here. You know, everybody thought that icing was the way you get rid of injuries. And then my buddy Gary Reinl wrote this book called Iced. And here's the thing, Dr. Gabe Merkin is the guy who invented rest. He invented literally from Harvard, rest, ice, compression, elevation. In this book, Gabe Merkin does the preamble, the foreword, and tells you that he was wrong. Guys, sometimes science gets it wrong. And that's why we keep doing studies. That's why we have this article. That's why they keep researching what these vaccines do. There's no such thing as settled science. There's things that are indicated. There's things that we think, that we know. But look, things can change. Back in the early 1900s, if you had a mental issue, they gave you a frontal lobotomy where they put a hole in the front of your head and whacked off your frontal lobe. We don't do that anymore. We don't do exorcisms anymore. Science changes. I pray to God, I really do, that everybody who got this vaccine, that everybody who didn't get this vaccine lives long, healthy, and prosperous lives. I'm not one of those guys who's going to dunk on people if there is anything wrong with these vaccines for being sick. But the people who told me that I was a murderer, that I'm an idiot because I didn't want to put this thing in my body, and that they wanted to mandate it and take away my ability to work and travel. You know what? Karma sucks. But a lot of people just got this because they thought it was the safest thing to do. A lot of things just got this because they didn't want to get fired from their job. A lot of people are happy they got it because they haven't gotten sick since. And I love that. I hope this vaccine is the greatest thing ever created. But man, these studies make me think. I'm scared. I'm scared because a lot of people I love got this. A lot of people I care about, they thought this was the best choice. A lot of people I care about just wanted to go on vacation, so they got it out of country. Maybe it was the right move. Maybe it does lessen the symptoms. Maybe I will get COVID, get really sick, and die. And they're right. I hope that's not the case. I have something to live for. They have stuff to live for. But guys, we got to quit this tribalist bullshit. At the end of the day, I want everybody who got vaccinated, of course, the ones who didn't wish death upon me, the ones who wish death upon me, hey, you know what? Let God sort you guys out. You're evil. You're evil. You know, what was it? My favorite movie ever, The Program. What did Latimer say? He said, Kill them all, let the paramedics sort them out. Well, actually, no, that was, what was the linebacker's name? Why am I blanking? That wasn't Latimer. Anyway, guys, I hope everything's great. But, you know, all you can do is just do your best and pray that everything's right. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. I'm praying that this is okay. I'm praying that everybody's okay. But I want you guys to do me a favor, and I want you to go to tigerfitness.com now. Support us. We sell Ghost Energy drinks. We sell Immortal. And support our great team. Love you guys. That's not a game. I have this craving for this amazing protein shake. I'm at Sprouts right now. I'm going to pick up all the ingredients, show you what I'm going to get. Number one ingredient, might not have expected this, is these dates. Medjool dates. I'm going to get a whole pack of these. Next up, bananas. Look at that price. 69 cents a pound for organic. I'm gonna get a whole bunch of these. Next up is almond milk. I've heard good things about this almond milk. Oh man, they got the best stuff here at Sprouts. Next up, I need almond butter. Ha! Might as well get the Sprouts brand right here. Only the best. Almost there. We need some cinnamon. Oh, got some Sprouts organic cinnamon powder right in the basket. Final ingredient, baby. And the most important ingredient, save the best for last. Sprout carries the best. That's why we got to go with the best. We're going to go with Madagascar Vanilla Planta. Look at this. We got 3 flavors to choose from, but today I got a craving for this Madagascar Vanilla Planta right in the basket. Let's go check out. Let's blend this thing up. Y'all ready for this plant-based vanilla date nana shake? Start out with the most important ingredient, that there, Ambrosia Planta. I wish y'all could smell this. Smells so good. We're going to add in 30 grams of banana and 3 pitted dates. Then we're gonna add in a tablespoon of almond butter, half a teaspoon of that there cinnamon. Next up, that milk. Let's go. You gotta try this. Get all the ingredients from Sprouts, everything you need, from dates to almond butter to, of course, Ambrosia Planta.